Welcome to the Stewardship Leader Podcast, brought to you by the Christian Stewardship Network. CSN exists to encourage, teach, and connect church and stewardship leaders to help them create and lead healthy stewardship ministries in their church. You can learn more about CSN at ChristianStewardshipNetwork.com. Well, welcome to Stewardship Insight, a brief conversation to help you become a better stewardship leader. On today's episode, I have with me Dave Briggs, and we're going to talk about how partnering with other ministries in your church will increase the effectiveness of your stewardship ministry. Dave, why don't you get us started?
Well, as you know, Leo, this is something that I have found to be incredibly helpful in the two stewardship ministries that I've led, one at Willow and one at Central. The potential ability to reach more people in a more effective way by partnering with other ministries has been one of the most positive things that's occurred in both our ministries. Mm-hmm. The idea of seeking out ways to get the stewardship message out as it's intertwined with the same message that other ministries are presenting is just a huge win-win. It's 1 and 1 equals 3, because both ministries are getting a commingled, unique message out, which helps both of us at the same time. So, as an example, our children's ministry, I have partnered with our children's ministry to present Raising Financially Healthy Kids. And the best thing is I present the material. They're the ones that get the parents there. And both of us leave having had a much more effective time than we could have done separately. I've also found that partnering with the student ministry in something like preparing your kid and your wallet for college, where again, we present the material, they bring the parents, and you have the opportunity for the parents who come to see that both the financial ministry and the student ministry have partnered, and it's been amazingly effective. I've also found the marriage ministry to be a wonderful ministry to partner with, because marriage and money are so tightly intertwined that to have the marriage ministry recruit and bring the couples there, and we bring the message, again, is incredibly effective. And so I do believe it's one of those areas that oftentimes stewardship leaders overlook, and that's the power of seeking out really solid partnerships with other ministries within the church, and then formatting your material to fit within that partnership.
I think the challenge is in a church is that so many churches develop silos. They don't mean to, but every ministry leader is overlooking over their responsibility, their group of people that they're discipling. And so they're thinking always, how can I reach more people with a message that I have? Maybe it's men's, maybe it's women's ministry. And all of us in stewardship as well are looking to serve our people. What we fail to see is that they're the same people. Right? I mean, they're from the same congregation, whether they're male or female, whether they're married, whether they're single, somehow they're being ministered in some way outside of stewardship. Maybe we haven't quite grabbed their attention yet. Well, this is one of the ways that you can somewhat infiltrate their ministries and multiply those efforts. So I agree with you. I think it's something that we overlook, something that we think, well, if we just get them here, then we can teach them our way. Here's the other problem that I see. I think a lot of times, I don't know, for me initially, when I started in the stewardship ministry, my hesitation to partner with other ministries was that I was looking at the curriculum that I was running and I was thinking, how can I fit that into young adults? How can I fit that into marriage ministry? And because of the content that I was using, I thought, well, I need trained leaders to do this. So I can't just get them to do it because then I have to train a new set of people. So it's better if they just send them over here. But really what that helped me to see is that I was kind of stuck in my own box. And I needed to think, how can I create something that they can use? It may not be a cookie cutter, plug in the DVD and hit play, but it had to be something that I can add to what they're already doing in order to make it effective. Because if I can do that and I come alongside them, it may just be enough to get their attention. And if they need more, Of course, we still have everything that we're doing in our own ministry. So then they can come over here and get a more full discipleship in that area if that's what they need. But to partner up with them, you don't have to do all the ministry through that ministry, but you do have to branch out and allow that message of stewardship to permeate throughout the whole congregation. And the best way to do that is to do marriage conferences, to do men's events, to do young adult kind of events where you can come in there and add value to them. Because more than likely, I remember this in one of the ministries that we are partnering with was young adults. The pastor there was trying to figure out, how do I teach these young adults about money? Because he knew that they were just blowing money left and right on stuff that wasn't really going to be good for them long term. And so he came and connected with our senior stewardship pastor and said, what do I need to do in here? And he was able to look at some of the content he was offering. And of course, we did our best to come alongside them. But one of the things you're not going to do is you're not going to just railroad and tell them, get out of the way, let us teach your people. No, it's a different approach. It's coming in and saying, how can I add value to what you're already doing? But you're right, Dave. It's a 1 × 1 = 3 type of impact, and it cannot be overlooked.
One of the things that has been so gratifying is not even approaching some of these ministries and saying, how can I help? But actually getting a phone call from them saying, would you be willing to come in and partner with us, when they know that your heart is to help everybody in the congregation.
Right.
And you've established those relationships with ministry leaders, you'll find they're often knocking on your door saying, would you please come in and partner with us? And those are the ones that are most satisfying because you got invited in. And that happens because you've created those personal relationships with other ministry heads.
And I think that's the key. Let's say you're on a staff with significant amount of ministries being represented. Probably the best option is not to just go to the ministry and say, hey, can we teach on this subject? Just become friends with those people that are overseeing those ministries. And then as they learn what you do and what you're passionate about, and that passion oozes out, they're going to be like, I need to get you in front of my people because these people need to hear what you've got. So I think that's a really, really key thing is don't try to figure out how to convince them. Just, become friends. Tell them what you're passionate about, not with the purpose of selling them something, because once you share what you have, they're going to want it. But become friends with them. Focus on the relationship.
Yeah, one of the greatest memories I have is the children's ministry asked me if I'd come in and help them kind of come up with 4 different lessons that they could come up with that, say, a 3rd grader would be able to relate to. And so we sat down, took some of our biblical messages and put them down at a 3rd grader's level. And then the guy running the children's ministry says, I have this great idea. What if we gave every single kid 3 different colored pigs, one for saving, one for giving, and one for spending, and we'll give every single kid one of these little banks.
Wow.
And
that's great.
And 6 months later, the kids were still talking about those little banks as a result of kind of working with the children's ministry like that. Yeah. So it can be a fun experience as well.
I love it. I think it's a worthwhile effort. And I think if you're struggling to really get your ministry to have a bigger impact in your church, this is one that you cannot miss because it really does give you a lot of leverage to really reach a much, much wider group of your congregation. At the same time, I think the benefit is that you are aligning with what those other ministries are doing, which is part of the vision of your church. When you're infiltrating and going through and connecting with all these ministries, what that's going to tell your senior leadership is like, hey, you're a team player. You want to help everyone else succeed while also sharing what you're passionate about. And who doesn't love that kind of person? So I think it's a great
win-win situation all the way around.
Yeah,
really
no doubt.
It's one that we're not taking as much advantage of as I think we could in general across most stewardship ministries.
Well, I hope this information and just a little bit of nugget that we shared today will help you in partnering with other ministries at your church to make your stewardship ministry more effective. Thank you for joining us for the Stewardship Insight. To learn more and gain access to our Stewardship Insights and content, please visit our website at christianstewardshipnetwork.com. We'll see you next time.